Hi, my name's Phoebe, and I am our UX designer working with all of our global teams here at CLO. I will be walking you through these new features that we've developed for our 7.0 release, and we are all very proud and excited to show you this. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat, and somebody will be answering them live with you all. So let's dive right in and get started. One key update for CLO is the improvements made for Mac equipment. So now users will be able to see a vast improvement on working within CLO on Mac M1 silicone chips. So we've worked really hard on making sure that it's faster and easier to work on these computers now, and we will continue to study and optimize this. So please look forward to future improvements. But for now, I hope you're really happy with what we've done and that you're able to use CLO quickly and easily, as always. In CLO 7.0, we have linked Pantone into CLO to make sure CLO has the most updated Pantone colors possible. Win-win, right? So you'll be able to access this Pantone library with any CLO software. So by going into the color window, you'll be able to get into here. You can get to the color window by all of our different ways: the fabric, selecting a trim, selecting an avatar, anyway, and then you just go into your property editor and select that color chip. Color window will then open, and what you'll see is a new tab, the Pantone color tab. Now, please note the information icon. This just explains that these colors may not match the Pantone identified standards. Here, though, you'll see that there's also a drop-down menu, and this will show you the 3 different color options: the polyester, cotton, and nylon option, which were the original 1, 2, and 3 tabs in previous versions of CLO. You'll still have all the same viewing options as you did before. This color chip option of viewing your Pantone colors. And then if I go down to the viewing icon right below here, I can then switch to the list option. And if I select that again, the detailed option. Another feature that we still have is the ability to change, like zoom in and zoom out on how big you want your view to be and how small you want it to be. And we've also kept the same way in which you can search for Pantone colors by either typing in the number, like so, which is really great, or you could do my personal favorite, which is you can look up similar colors. So if I go over to this green color right here, I can then look it up for similar colors and I'll see all of these similar green Pantones. It's my favorite way. Now, once you find the color you like and you've picked it out within this color window, it will work as always. You'll select the color and then you'll see it change in your 3D window in real time. And that's it. In CLO 7.0, we are introducing the parametric pattern feature. Users now have the ability to create a first draft without needing any pattern drafting knowledge. This feature is located in the Editor tab at the top of the toolbar. Once selected, you can then choose Parametric Pattern. The parametric pattern will then appear on the screen, and here's where you can easily input your measurements to create a pattern. You will have a few different options for your pattern. For the front and back pattern pieces, you can choose between symmetry, half symmetry, or no symmetry at all. Symmetry option will apply symmetry to all pattern pieces that are linked, but they'll all be separate. Half symmetry will create unfolded symmetrical patterns. So it will be 2 pattern pieces, a front and then a back. And then finally, if you don't check anything, you will then just create 2 half pattern pieces, a half front and a half back with no symmetry applied. If you would like to add sleeves to your body, simply check the on box next to the sleeves and you'll then create some sleeves. If you want a symmetrical copy, just check on the symmetrical box. Pretty easy. You can see that there will be measurements inputted when you first open up CLO for the parametric pattern window. If you ever want to reset to those measurements, just hit the reset button at the bottom left here. Now, let's start to input some measurements. You can reference a multitude of things to create your first draft, but I'm going to use an old spec page. Before I start to type in the front measurements, here is an image of where all of these measurements are taken in relationship to a pattern or garment for the front body. So now I'm just going to quickly and easily put in all of my measurements. Now, one important thing to note is there is a total option. So it's next to some measurements. If you check this total option on, you are choosing to import the total circumference of the pattern. This will include the measurement of both the front and the back pattern, meaning the correlating back measurement will then be deactivated. As you can see now, the back measurement is all out in gray. So now I'll just put in the rest. And now that my front is done, I'll move on to the back. And here's an image of all of the measurements that are taken in relationship to the pattern garment for the back measurements. Now I'll just input all of my back measurements really quickly and easily. Now that my back measurements are done, I want to check on my sleeves. So I'll check on for my sleeves. And here also is an image of all of these sleeve measurements for you to see. And once I'm done typing those in, I'll just hit create, that bottom button, and I'll have created some patterns in a matter of moments, right? And it's really great. We're really proud of this feature. If you have any input, we're always welcome to it. This feature will continue to be improved and worked on, but we're always open to suggestions. We have made some updates to our grading tools to increase the ease of use within these tools. When using the Edit Each Grading tool, if you select a point with multiple sizes stacked on top or close to one another, a dropdown will appear, allowing you to choose the size you wish to edit. Once you've chosen the size you wish to edit, you can then either use your arrows on your keyboard or your mouse to start to move and adjust that size. What's also really nice is now we've included some guides for you to use. So holding down Shift, you can get that X, Y, horizontal and vertical 45 degrees guides. And of course, if you're holding down Control, then you will see the extension of your pattern outlines and those like curves and angles that they're going. We also did include the precision box for you all. So now you can be super precise all the time. just right clicking and you'll get the precision box while moving your points, and you can type in any number you wish to adjust your measurement. Pretty great. We have now included an option when importing a DXF to rotate the grain line back to 0. So here, when I open up my DXF, you'll see the reset grain line option. And there are 3 choices. So there's maintain, original, 270 to 0, and 90 to 0. Maintain original simply means to keep the original grain line direction. So I'm going to select maintain original, and you see here that it stayed at 270. So the value stayed. That's where a lot of the issues were starting to occur. So now I'm going to use this new feature, and I'm going to say convert from 270 to 0. Now my value in my property editor is at 0. You will notice though that the grain line on the pattern hasn't moved, just the value within the property editor has. The same results will be true if I decide to use the 90 to 0 for a pattern that had originally a 90 grain line, and also when using maintain original and I just had a 0 grain line. This improvement, we hope, will solve the issue that was occurring when users were bringing in DXF patterns that were made horizontally in other CAD softwares, and the value would be incorrect. So we hope this solves that problem. If not, give us some feedback. Another improvement we've made with grain lines is now you're able to actually rotate your pattern along the grain line. Nice, right? Just simply select your pattern using your transform tool, right click, and you can now rotate your pattern and you can reset along grain line. Now it will go back to its original orientation, and you can now quickly and easily continue to edit. You are now able to export a rule file within CLO. Here I have finished grading this t-shirt, and I would like to export the rule file that I've created here. So I'm going to just go to File, Export DXF, and then here I'll save out the name, and then I'll get that great little pop-up box for DXFs. Here I'll have 3 different types of DXF formats to choose from, and I'll also have to choose between a graded nest or a rule file. There's also the scale options that I can choose as well. I can then select OK and save out my DXF and rule file separately. Now, this is the amazing part. I can go into a new project that doesn't have any grading, and I can add in this rule file quickly and easily. And I've just graded this and it's all done. You now have the ability to import CSV files into your POM tab. So you're now able to add in these CSV files to quickly name POMs and also add in POMs within CLO. You can do this really easily. So here I've put in some POMs already that I've just like drawn in using my POM tool. And now I'm just going to go to this file open icon and bring in a CSV file of all of these properly named POMs. Once that's been populated, I now can take these measurements that I've already done in CLO, and I can actually download them into the correct names. So I can download my center front here, and I can also put in that center back. What's also really nice is I can just click on these POMs as well and put them in manually too. So I can just use my POM tool and put this in right away, really quickly and easily. I also can just add points of measure still. I don't need to use what I've put into CLO right now. I can just put them in and I can still download that into the CSV ones that I just inputted. You also can delete any blank ones that you may not want, but you have a lot of options here now, and this is a really great and fun feature to use that will definitely help speed up time. Now, when using the Add Point Split Line tool, you will see that there are smart guides. So you can go to your Add Point Split Line tool and hover anywhere on your pattern, and then you'll start to see these little guides to help you place them in a more accurate way within your 2D pattern. There have been some improvements to the flattening tool within 7.0. Previously, this tool was trying to extract shape out of the avatar by treating it as a cloth simulation. This was actually causing a lot of calculation time and some unexpected bugs. So now we've implemented a new algorithm, allowing shorter calculation times and more stability. This in turn allows the user to create more accurate patterns within complex shapes, as you can see here. Also, as you can see, I can create much smaller and complex patterns more efficiently. And after flattening these pieces, my patterns are created faster with more stability than before. You will now be able to see the outline of the buttons within Schematic Render window. You can go into your Schematic Render window in your 3D toggle menu, and you can see the buttons are now highlighted. Great, right? You can play around with the thickness of their line through the seam line, and of course, you can change the color of this line. All the things we already knew. What you might not know, though, is you can also now add the thread line within the schematic render. First, I'll go to my object browser, select my button, and then go into my property editor. And then I'll click on the thread tab. Here, I'll uncheck same as front, and I'll change the color to black. And that's how you can add in the line for schematic render. You can now move both the avatar and garment together in your 3D space. Most excited. In the 3D window, you can now just select your avatar, right click, select avatar and garment. And now using that gizmo tool, you can move your avatar and garment together anywhere within the 3D window. Pretty snazzy. Users now have the option to adjust their 3D background image. By right-clicking anywhere in the 3D window, you will see the option Format 3D Background. Selecting the icon image here to open, you can bring in your image. Now, over next to that open icon image is the lock ratio. If you want to lock the ratio, you'll just select that. If you want to keep it unlocked, you'll keep it unlocked. When you lock the ratio, it will maintain the original image's ratio. This will then allow you to easily zoom in and adjust and move your avatar around onto that 3D background image and place it where you'd like it to be. There have been a few improvements within the colorway mode. The first one being the placement of colorway mode. Now, when going into the mode section of CLO, you will see that colorway and BOM are no longer there. They're still there though. They're just over in the editor tab at the top toolbar. When you select the editor, you'll then see BOM, colorway, and parametric pattern. A really nice feature that arose from this update is the ability to seamlessly move between your 2D window and your colorway window fairly easily. So now you can edit your pattern and then switch to your colorway window to see the updates. Another great update is the ability to see all your texture maps when selecting the icons within the colorway mode. So now when you click on your icons here in your colorway mode, you'll see in your property editor that all of the maps are there to edit and adjust. Now you can quickly and easily edit your colors, graphics, anything without having to go into the object browser like before, speeding up your workflow a bit. Another great update is making it easier to delete graphics, trims, and other objects within the colorway window. To delete any of these items, all you have to do is right-click on them and select the delete icon. If they are in use in other colorways, a pop-up will come up warning you of this. Please keep in mind that this will delete the object from all colorways, not just that one. Drag and drop has been another improvement to our users' workflow. So now you can just drag and drop fabrics into your colorway editor, and that will change the texture and maps of that icon of that fabric. Just so you know, this new feature only changes the appearance of the fabric, meaning all the maps will be adjusted. However, it does not change the physical drape or properties of the colorway. Not yet, at least. A viewing improvement we have made to our colorway mode is the ability to now hide or show graphics. So there's this option here to hide or show graphics. Scrolling down, you'll see that I can view all of the graphics that are within every colorway in each colorway. However, I can check hide or show graphics on, and then I'll only see the graphics that I'm using for that one colorway. Pretty nice and organized, I'd say. You can choose whether you'd like to see every graphic or if you just want to see the graphics you're using now in that colorway. Another viewing update is the change from list view to viewer view. Now it's just show details or not, as you can see at the bottom right-hand corner. If I unselect this, I will just see the images instead of the details. And I can then just go into save image still, and I have the either colorway view or snapshot. And what's really nice is now that name is going to automatically populate, so I don't have to type it all in. And if that's not a win, I don't know what is. And then you can just hit OK, and this will be the same for snapshot and the colorway editor. You now have the option to show or hide your grading within print layout mode. In the 2D pattern display icon on the top left, you can turn show grading on or off and see your grading now. In version 7.0, you can also see nesting results in real time. After clicking nest patterns, the system will start to calculate the consumption and everything for your pattern layout. And you'll see this changing and updating in real time. As the calculation goes on, the results are, if the results are almost unchanged, you can actually stop then the nesting early, or you can let it continue to go. We have made some improvements to our BOM. First off, again, the BOM is no longer in the mode section, but if you go over to editor in the top toolbar, you'll find it there and it'll be great. You'll also now be able to seamlessly switch between BOM mode and your 2D window, which is kind of great. Another great update we've done for our BOM mode is there's a little icon next to the fabric, an information icon. What this is doing is it's giving you a little fun fact that the print layout is linked to your BOM. So if you update your print layout to the most efficient nesting option, then the pricing will update as well. One thing to note, though, about this is if you nest multiple sizes like I'm about to do, then it will take into account that whole nest for all of the sizes. It is not a sample price. It is a more of a production price with all of the different sizes, like so. And now I can just update it and see the price change based off of the nesting. Our final mode improvement is with emulator mode. So now we have updated it so that our stretch force tolerance will allow for 0.005. This difference is for very high stretch fabrics. If you input a number that has a force difference of 0.005, there will be an information icon next to it. This little information icon, when hovered over, will just state that this is counted as a very high stretch fabric. If the difference is above 0.005, then just that little tool icon will be next to it. And if the difference is below 0.005, a little warning icon will appear next to it, just letting you know that this is below what it should be, and maybe for you to check it out. Just always trying to be helpful. We are happy to announce that in version 7.0, you will now be able to adjust your zipper teeth and tape separately. So you can see here that there's a separate tab for teeth and a separate tab for tape. Now I can just go in and change these colors around and the maps, lots of different things, and adjust and edit them very independently of one another. Along with changing out the colors, you can also change out the maps. So here I can go over and bring in different teeth and tape textures within my property editor to change the appearance. All of these texture images are actually in the hardware and trims folder under zipper that you can use. There are a few different types of textures that you can use that CLO provides. There is plastic, metal, and nylon. Please note though, that if you edit a zipper from a previous file, you're going to then have to actually bring in one of these texture maps to either the tape or the teeth so that you can then adjust them separately. If not, what you adjust won't show up. Another great thing is you can adjust the presets of both the tape and teeth separately. So here, if I see type, I can, underneath that type drop-down menu right here, I can select different types for the tape and different types for the teeth and continue to play and adjust and create all these different zipper, tape, and teeth presets and creations. We have made a few updates to our binding tools. The first update is the ability to now have binding on both sides of the fabric. Really fun. So here we will apply the binding as normal. And as you can see, adding in the binding is much smoother and easier than before. Make sure to simulate after you add in the binding to stabilize that. I'll then select the binding and I'll go into type. And when I drop down, you'll see that there is a new option called both. This will then allow you to add your binding to both the back and front or under and over. I'll then, of course, want to simulate again to update this and make sure that my garment is stable. And now I'll have binding on both my under and over. Another update is applying binding to seam lines. Also really exciting. So now in CLO, you will be able to apply binding to edges, even if they are sewn. I'll apply the binding to this shoulder seam here. Once applied, CLO will then prompt me to decide which side I want to apply this binding to. I will then just select the side that I want. And then I'll just continue as usual there. So all of the rest of the binding properties and adjustments will remain exactly the same. We have made a small update to our top stitches within CLO 7.0. You are now able to change the order of top stitches by going into your Edit Top Stitch tool and then selecting your top stitch that you want, right-clicking, and then going into Order. You'll then have a few options. You'll have Bring Forward, Bring to Front, Send Backwards, and Send to Back. Whichever one you select, you'll then see appear within your 2D window for your top stitches. We have made some exciting updates to our trims this release. One is being able to convert patterns to trims. This will be very helpful for decorative trims and all different types of hardware. Here I created a butterfly within CLO and would like to convert it to a trim. First, I will make sure my trim is mapped using Unified so that my textures are what I want them to be. I'll then right-click in my 3D window and select Convert to Trim. Clicking on that, the pattern will then convert to a trim and disappear in your 2D window. I'll then be able to place it onto my garment exactly as I would if I was using any other trim. Please know that your trim's weight does get recalculated, so you may have to check that. Another update within the trims in 7.0 is the ability to now duplicate your trims to a symmetric pattern and mirror paste. I'll do this here. So I will select this slider, right click, and duplicate it to symmetric pattern. As you can see, this has made it infinitely easier to bring this trim to my symmetric pattern. You can also now mirror paste your trims within your 3D window. So here I'll select my butterfly, right click, copy it, and then I'll just right click and select mirror paste. The shadow of the trim will show up, allowing me to decide exactly where I'd like to place this. Then I'll click and place it wherever I like and start to move and adjust it. In CLO 7.0, you can add buttons to internal lines again. Yay! I'll first select my internal line using my transform tool. Then I will go into the add button tool over in my 3D toolbar, right click on top of the internal line. The pop-up box will appear and I'll be able to select how I'd like to distribute my buttons throughout these internal lines. I'll then hit OK once I'm happy with what I've chosen. And then you'll see it here in my 3D and 2D window, all of my buttons on this internal line. I can continue to edit and adjust these buttons using my property editor to exactly what I'd like them to look. A very exciting improvement to CLO 7.0 is the color switch in our texture editor. The color switch will allow you to edit individual colors within prints and graphics. Very exciting. So here in this graphic, I'll show you exactly how. Selecting the layer, I'll check on color switch, type in the amount of colors I'd like to switch. I can then hover over these colors and you'll see it highlight. And now I can select the color, and in my color window, I can change those colors out. I can then select apply and close, and that will then update in my colorway mode. I can do the same thing for this next colorway on the exact same graphic. I'll go into my multi-texture editor, select the layer, type in the amount of colors, then hover over the color I'd like to switch, select it, and then with my color window, I can change any point I want. So I can adjust either graphic however I'd like to, and it will only affect that one colorway still, which is really great. I can also do the exact same thing for print. So here I can select my print fabric and I can go into my multi-texture editor, check on color switch, type in the amount of colors within that print, select the colors and change them. But I can also check on this blur box, and this will allow for my colors to be a little bit sharper because it will give a larger blur to the edges. So it'll look a little bit nicer within my print. And now I can just go through and edit this and adjust it exactly as I want for this new colorway. And it's really fun and easy to do, as you can see. I can then just hit again, apply and close, and update my colorways and see what I like. And I can continue to do this and adjust each colorway as I see fit. We have updated our layout. And for our library, we now have a tree structure. So starting with CLO 7.0, our library will now have a tree structure within it where you can expand and collapse icons to open folders within this tree structure. We believe that this structure will make navigation and organization a little bit easier within CLO and a little bit faster. As you can see, you can use these drop-down tools to see all of the subfolders you have. If there are no longer any more subfolders, then this icon will no longer appear to drop down. So pretty intelligent. Another improvement we've made is the object browser also now has a tree structure. So look at that. So over here in the scene tab for our object browser, you'll also see a very similar layout now of a tree structure. What you'll also see is icons describing what each major section is. Again, These little drop-down icons will appear when there are subfolders underneath or there's more sub-information, and you can continue to drop down, or you can hide more and more information to allow you to see your object browser scene a little bit more clearly and easily. This update is not only more user-friendly, we believe, but we also know that it will enable multiple features access in one concentrated area. So we're happy about it. Another update we've made is adding Solidify to the color options within our UI settings. So now if I select Solidify on this garment, I can then go into my settings and go into my user interface settings and change this Solidify color to any color I'd like. As you can see, when I select this pink, it will update automatically into this. We've also updated our open garment options. So now when you bring in a garment file, you'll have this option to either maintain current avatar's pose or use the garment files avatar pose. If you select use the garment files, the avatar pose will then change to what that garment file was. And finally, another update is with our library image for our fabric. So when I adjust and change this fabric around, you'll see here that it also updates. So when I'm using the texture editor and rotating and adjusting this fabric, it will automatically rotate and adjust and update over in the object browser as well, which is really nice. So it'll always be accurate. In 7.0, the fur maximum length has been updated. So while previous versions, you were able to increase the fur length to 254 millimeters, now in this latest version, you can increase it to a maximum of 1,000 millimeters. For those of us who work in inches, that's 40 inches. So it's quite a lot. Before explaining how to do this, I'm going to open up the render window to preview the fur immediately because the fur preset is only shown in the render window, as we all may know. So now I'm going to hit interactive, and here you'll see the fur length all set. And now I'll go into my property editor and change it to the maximum fur length that is possible. So here I will enter the maximum value of 1,000. You can see that the length of the fur has been increased through the interaction render. As you may have already known, the longer the fur length, the more meshes you need to render. So eventually the render time will increase. So please refer to that if you want to go to this extreme. It will take you more time to render out. We would like to introduce CLO to the Discord channel. The official CLO server has been opened on Discord, a community platform. On the Discord CLO official server, you can receive various CLO news and CLO tip materials. You can talk freely with CLO users to share tips and industry news. Discord can be accessed through a PC web browser, mobile app, and an invitation link. We will release a QR code right here that allows access to the Discord CLO official servers. If you would like to join, please scan the QR code to join the Discord CLO official servers. For more rules and explanations, you can check out our Discord channel. We look forward to meeting various CLO users from around the world through this official Discord CLO server and using it as a meaningful place to share information with each other. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it and are just as excited about all these features as we are. And we can't wait for you to use CLO with all of these great new features and give us your feedback and everything. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. There are always great tips and tricks for you to learn how to use CLO a little bit more efficiently, hopefully. Thank you again.